life is weirdly a lot harder than we've been told. And midlife? That's a whole other can of worms that I was completely unprepared for. What about you? But here's the good news. There are so many new skills and mindsets that we can learn to make even the toughest days a little bit better. You just haven't learned them. Welcome to Thrive with Kira, a smart and scary podcast for women in midlife that teaches the skills to get more joy and love in your life. Join me weekly as I teach science-based, smarty-farty topics and break them down into bite-sized lessons that you can apply to your life, all while sharing my own shit show life stories that you can learn from. I'll be talking regularly about getting more joy on a daily basis, thriving in midlife, yes, you can, figuring out menopause, healthy dating and relationships, building self-worth, body positivity and neutrality, growth mindset, adult friendships, and also just easy mindfulness, so we can stop just surviving and start learning how to thrive. Welcome to Thrive. Holy fuck, everybody. I'm back! Welcome, Sugar Pants. Welcome to Thrive with Kira. I am Kira. And you guys, I'm back. Yeah, I took a little hiatus because I've been thriving with the Thrive Midlife Group and we've been killing it. And Danny just had hip replacement surgery and life shows up and everything else. But I am back. I'm so excited to be here to share with you all the cool stuff I've been doing and working on. And then just really fucking digging back in. Because I think we need the strength, this joy, this resilience more than ever. Who's with me? So you guys, it's been a hot minute, right? But here we are, ready to dive into the good stuff again. I've got a shit ton of exciting updates, and you can see my swearing has went nowhere. And I think that it's probably gotten worse because perimenopause, and that's one to grow on. So you guys, I've been doing Thrive and it's been amazing. So the women who signed up for Thrive, they're about 4 months in. The change and the growth has been incredible. They have access to me every single day. And we have already worked our way through emotional regulation. So understanding feelings, limiting beliefs, the growth mindset, thinking traps, cognitive biases, all of it. And now we are moving into deep ass self-worth. And it has been great. I love these women. I love to see them grow. They're coming to hang out with me in Madison in June. I love it. The best part about Thrive is the next cohort doors open soon, guys. The next cohort will be launching in October. It's going to be a little different just due to the state of the fucking world. And it's going to be 6 months, deep diving into self-worth, emotional health, getting more joy, and just building that life that you actually want. Because what's the fucking point otherwise? And we only have one retreat, but it is in Palm Springs and it is at the coolest fucking rental and it's really great. Also, guys, my other little passion project, RomCom Rescue, is killing it. We're having so much fun over there. Dr. Izzy and I have recently dissected some classic and new gems. The new Bridget Jones that did not hold up for me, I'm not gonna lie. We dissected one of my favorites, Set It Up from Netflix. We revisited My Big Fat Greek Wedding. We're coming up with Notting Hill this week and While You Were Sleeping for their 30th anniversary. We have been having so much fun, and the juice, the meat, the information that you can get about love, dating, friendships, relationships, healthy living in general, and how to approach people in life is fucking priceless. Priceless. And we have a really good time over there. We've become less awkward. We're a lot more fun. And we actually have most of our podcast up on YouTube so you can see my ridiculous facial expressions when I don't agree with things, which is a lot. So if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't checked it out in a while, go head over RomCom Rescue on romcomrescue.com. You are missing out on laughter, love lessons, really good takeaways, my ridiculousness, and we are teaching some cool shit there. We really are. It wouldn't be Kira if I didn't have a new website, because if we don't know this about me, in the 17 years that I have been doing this, holy shit, in the 17 years I've been doing this, about every year to year and a half, I get antsy. I'm literally moving in my seat, shimmying over here. I get antsy for a new design. I just do. A new flow and functionality and everything else. So I have a brand new website. It is live. It's at thrivewithkira.com. It's gorgeous. You can get on the Thrive Midlife Program waitlist that when it opens up in a couple of weeks with a nice little discount, you can make sure that you are on the list and know about it. I've revamped my one-on-one coaching. So if groups isn't for you, you and I can work together. And there's 3 ways that we can dig in. We can dig in and do a midlife edit. I've created this amazing group of assessments to assess your life. And then we go through 12 different sessions to work on what's working, what's not, what to clear, what to focus on. And we really tailor it to you. Because that's the thing about one-on-one coaching is I can create a path, but we really work on what you need. There's also no way I'm getting rid of reinventing dating. So if you didn't take the class, I am seeing relationships all over the place pop up from it. So if you want to work on dating, if you want to work on getting in a relationship in 2025, you and I can do that one-on-one. I can promise when you are done, you will know more about love and healthy relationships than 99% of the people on this planet. I'm not fucking kidding you. You will know what to do. You will know what to say. You will know how to act. You will know what's okay. Oh my God, I just rhymed. All of it. So you can do that one-on-one with me. And then finally, I'm actually creating a package for probably my favorite topic of all time, which is self-worth. And when I was a kid, every morning as I was eating my cocoa wheats at my table, because that's what I would have for breakfast almost every morning, my cocoa wheats, and I would listen to our local WRCO. We had a local supermarket called John's IGA, and the little jingle went, "All roads lead to John's IGA." Well, I can tell you this. Whatever you're fucking dealing with, whether it's being exhausted, people, your job, like not feeling good in your life, all roads lead back to self-worth and what we believe that we deserve. And if you deep down don't believe that you deserve much, you will accept less and your life will not be as good. That's all it is. We don't have to get emotional about it. I feel like as older I get, the more like I'm just about logistics. Let's just look at this non-emotionally and say, how do we do this better? And man, guys, I am at the top of my fucking game. I also started, and I'm not giving a shout out to the company yet, but I also started bioidentical HRT for my perimenopause, and it's really fucking helped. I wouldn't say that like all of my symptoms are gone, but it is really helped. And this is not actually hormone replacement therapy, although they have proven for many people that that is now completely safe. But this is actually a natural version. It's made from yams. I put a little patch on twice a week and I'm sleeping better. I'm not as angry at the fucking world. I'm still semi-angry at the world because why wouldn't I be? Why wouldn't you be? Why wouldn't we all be? But anger, by the way, as a woman, we were taught anger is bad. I see it now as the fuel to the fire that fires and fuels my fucking passion to change the world and get here and do this podcast. So listen, I know the world is like on fucking fire in so many ways right now. and we're all like nervous. And the hardest thing about having my business is when we're nervous, people don't want to buy shit. They don't want to buy coaching. I get that. But here's what I also know. I am good at this shit. I will change your life. And if you are miserable or really unhappy and you could really use some help around either self-worth, dating and relationships, or just taking a big ass look at your midlife and seeing what we can add, what we can get rid of, and just making it a life you actually fucking want to live, check it out, thrivewithkira.com. We jump on a free phone call together. There's no pressure. I'm not a salesy person. I'm not fucking good at it. If you know me, you know that about me. But what I do know is how to coach. And I do know a lot of shit. And I do know how to send you audios where I am singing as a unicorn, wind beneath my wings. So if any of that sounds good to you, let's talk. Finally, guys, and this took me way fucking longer than I thought it would, as most things do, but I created a whole new assessment. And in true not many fucks given, except the things that matter, mode, I have named it Way Too Old for This Shit quiz. And it is a short, I think it's 9 or 10 questions. It's fun and pretty funny because I really tried, guys. I really tried. There's a lot of cool like 80s gifs in there to make it a little more fun. And basically we're looking at what you're just too damn old for at this point, right? Too old to put up with. Too old to put up with the people pleasing. Too old to put up with the overgiving. Too old to put up with the overthinking. All of it. It's really good. It's really fun. In fact, I'm dedicating not only this episode, but 4 episodes to it. But go over there after this episode, take it yourself, because I just sent a handful of fun emails. I have TV characters that are the same as you. I explain why we got this way or how we got this way as Gen X and kind of elder millennials, because it's not just you. This is generational. This is cultural shit. This is things that we were taught through TV, movies, magazines, media, the education system, everything. And you and I both know a lot of that shit doesn't fit anymore. It doesn't fit who we want to be. It doesn't fit the wise mentors that we want to be for our kids and nieces and nephews, or just people in your life. So let's get into it. So when you go over and check out this assessment, we'll make it fancy and not say quiz, because quiz makes it sound like Cosmo, which it, by the way, is like 2 steps up from a Cosmo quiz, because it's a quiz and an assessment and it's generalized. You fit into 4 personality types. None of us fit into 4 personality types, but just the same, it's a lot of fun. And I think it is downright fucking insightful. I really do. So guys, I'm going to break down each personality type. I'm going to tell you what it is in the characteristics. I'm going to tell you how we got here. And I'm going to really make it directly relative to Gen X and elder millennials, because I do think we were taught very different things. You're certainly not broken. We see this shit all the time, even in TV today. And then I'm going to send you over to the assessment so that you can then start getting some small steps to work on each personality type. I know some of you, especially a lot of my former clients, have done some of this work. So that's great. But sometimes there's still work to do, right? Maybe we've healed a bunch of shit from the past, but we're just not sure how to do it differently or better. That's fucking real. That's exactly where coaches come in. So let's talk about the very first of the 4 results. The overgiver. Now, we all know the overgiver. I, at different times in my life, have been the overgiver. But if somebody needs something, you're already 3 steps ahead, offering for help before they even ask. And here's the fucked up part. You maybe don't even want to do that. Or you realize later you wish you wouldn't have. And like you do it because you hope that they will in turn do it for you. And if they don't, you become resentful. You're the one who probably remembers birthdays, or you check in on people when they're struggling and you somehow end up organizing everything from group gifts to emotional interventions. And you're fucking exhausted because life as an individual is hard enough. Many people choose to have children. I can't even take on the amount of time and energy that it takes to raise kids, even when they're out of the house. And overgivers give so much that there's rarely anything left for them, which leaves them tired and exhausted. And here's the thing. There's a lot of shit we can get away with in our 20s and 30s. Because we have the energy and we're excited about the future and yada, yada, yada. And then between perimenopause and their 40s, and I just remember at 40, my body just decided to do completely different things. It's like the day my birthday happened, it was like, we're different now. We're going to be different. And I didn't like it, but I've come to accept that this is who I am. But when we are an overgiver and we hit midlife, fuck, it's hard. Because we start getting angry and resentful and hurt. We give so much that there's not much left for ourselves. And even though that may have worked when you were in your 20s or 30s when you had the energy, there's a very good chance you don't have the energy now. Here's some characteristics of the overgiver. You volunteer before anyone asks and somehow end up doing the most work. I'm guessing you hated group projects when you were younger because you were the one who did 80% of it and everybody else took credit. Saying no makes you feel deeply uncomfortable, like you are personally letting someone down. You check in on people way more than they check in on you. You feel guilty resting because there's always something to do. And you rarely ask for help because it's just fucking easier to handle it yourself. Now, listen, in this scenario, you are not Lady Gaga. You were not born this way. A lot of this is conditioning. It really is. And for Gen Xers and elder millennials, overgiving isn't a habit. It's a survival skill. And we picked that up from decades of handling everything else on our own and making sure everyone else was okay first. Think about where we learned that from. I'm going to break down why I think particularly, and I'm not saying more than baby boomers or the silent generation, but why we, Gen X, were literally raised and on some level socialized or conditioned to become overgivers. So the first thing, I'm just going to call it the superwoman myth. Really, our moms were some of the first to go to work full time. So we saw that having, so not just that we were expected to, but also that we had the opportunity now to have a full-time job, to have a passion for work or meaning or purpose in a way that women were not really allowed to in the past. So we were exposed to all these messages about having a career and family and personal aspirations, essentially doing it all, right? You can do it all. You can have it all. And I feel like that really led to a sense of obligation to give more of ourselves in every area of our life. Often, most of the time, at our own expense. Think of those "you can have it all" ads and how unrealistic they were. I hope we know now that I guess we can have it all, but that's probably going to look way different than you believed it was going to look, that you believed you could have. There is just only so much bandwidth, so many hours of the day, So much emotional, mental, physical that we can do. And as we get older, the gift of this being more tired, just hormonal from perimenopause and menopause, all of these things, is it forces us to slow down. Or it should be forcing us to slow down and look at what's working, what's not. What do I need to change? Because this is not sustainable. Sure, I can pull it off maybe part of the time, but it's not sustainable. And by that point, we feel unheard. We feel unseen. We feel invisible except for what we do or give. Another reason I think that Gen X was really created for this is just the cultural expectations around femininity and women. We are socialized to be nurturing, self-sacrificing, emotionally available at all times to others, whether it was in family roles, friendships, romantic relationships. This conditioning emphasized that what a woman's value and worth came from was how well they could support, care for, and give to others. Who feels that? I know I do. I know that in every single way, I was told again and again and again through TV shows, through media, through role modeling from my parents or my friends' parents, that my role as a woman was to have kids, to be nurturing, to be self-sacrificing. And young Kira, I'm not going to lie, she was calling that bullshit a long time ago. I'm pretty proud of her because she's like, I don't know. I don't know if that's for me. And I can't even tell you the amount of people in my 20s and my 30s, they've shut up now because I'm 51, who just kept saying, oh, you don't want kids? You will. It's going to happen for you. Like, them wanting it to happen made it so. People, stop doing shit like that. That's nutso in the butso. I remember a guy from high school who I made out with a couple of times, like later in life, right? I think like maybe in our 20s. And we were catching up on Facebook and he's, do you have kids? Do you want them? And I'm like, I don't have kids. And I've really decided that I don't want them. I've thought about it really hard and what I want for my life and what my goals are. And it just doesn't fit what I want. And he like said, oh, you'll change your mind. And I'm like, excuse me? Are you telling me that you know my brain after us not talking for years, but you know what I'm thinking and you know what's right for me more than I who exist in this body and mind do? Fuck to the fuck off, my friend. Fuck off. Next, how many of us saw our mothers, our grandmothers, our sisters, our aunts, our whatever, be the caretaker? That is what we learned. Lots of us had younger siblings and were expected to take care of them, maybe in ways that our brothers weren't. It was a lot of times our job to help manage the household more than our own fathers, which crazy pants now, right? And if it's not, think about that. That as a child, you are expected to maybe do more in the house than your own father. Nutso in the butso. But we saw our mothers, our grandmothers, as sacrificers, as the one cooking and cleaning and taking care of everything at almost all times, including emotionally and mentally in the house. There were no conversations about, does this make sense? Or is this right? Or should we do this? There was just, you do. And this is what women do. And I do not blame our mothers and our grandmothers because that's what they believed. That's what they were taught. But that's exactly why we can heal and step back and look at what makes sense and fucking heal that shit and do better. Because I don't give a shit what you believe about gender roles in relationships. If there is one person who is doing everything emotionally, mentally, and physically, there is no way that love can keep showing up and that it will consistently feel good. One person self-sacrificing does not create relationship, and it certainly does not create love. Next, I want to talk about Gen X female friendships. And I'm going to have some vulnerable moments here. I'm going to talk a little bit about my own experience. And I also understand it may not line up with yours. And I hope it doesn't. I hope it fucking doesn't. Now, first of all, let me say right away that my parents did not have a ton of adult friends, especially as we started getting older. When we were younger, I remember 10 and under, my parents would go to potlucks, like neighborhood potlucks. We used to go to, I think it's called a progressive dinner, where each house had a different course. And then the families would go like house to house. And sometimes it would be adults only. Damn, why don't we do this shit more now? We wonder why we're so lonely when all of these small type of community things really, I think, did bring us closer together. I was very lucky to have a neighborhood of kids growing up, and I'm really thankful for that. But female friendships have always been hard for me when I was younger. I did have a best friend starting in 4th grade, and we were inseparable. And I've talked about this before on the podcast, but when we hit middle school, when we hit 7th grade, she, as well as the group of friends we had at that point, booted me out of the friend group for a whole year. And not only would they not talk to me, they would actually somewhat bully me. It was hell. Now, besides that and going through a really tough family time, my dad was actually taking care of my grandmother who had had a stroke almost full time besides his job. It was just a really tough time in our family, let alone to have to go to school every day and not have friends for over a year. And I think that really fucking threw me off for a very long time and probably still does. I've done a little work around it in therapy. And as I'm talking about it and tearing up, it's making me go, maybe I need to bring this back up again. But the way I feel about female friendships now is not the way I necessarily felt growing up. Now, I did become friends with some of them again in high school. Everything went back to normal. But there was some damage there. And there was some trust challenges that I would have for years around other women and our roles in each other's lives. I let sometimes my friends treat me just as bad or worse than I let men treat me when I was younger. It's true. My friend who would say, let's go out, and then we'd only go out because she wanted to hit on guys or talk to guys, and I was just a third wheel who had to figure out my way home. That's so fucking unsafe. Like, now I'm like, why would we do that to each other? Why would we do that to each other? But the way I feel about female friendships, the absolutely deep, getting to like laugh till I cry, sharing really vulnerable stuff, that didn't come till much later. Much later. Maybe 20s, maybe 30s, after I started trusting women again to not backstab me, not talk about me, not tell secrets about me, whatever it is, right? Because that's what trauma looks like when something happens to us a long time ago and it's still affecting us now. So even being bullied by girls in 7th grade, which I think in some level would be like, it's middle school. All girls in middle school kind of suck, which societally, why are we not talking and thinking about this more? And I know that we're talking about it some because everybody knows that middle school girls and puberty and all the things that just start happening in our body create a not very nice atmosphere. But it also makes me go, what are we not giving or helping girls that age feel seen or feel supported, that they take it out on each other in such terrible fucking ways? But I actually had guy friends, a lot of guy friends. And in fact, a lot of my guy friendships were way deeper than my female friendships for years. So I feel very lucky that I have had so many great guy friends over the years. And because it also, I think, made becoming Danny's best friend as a part of our relationship a lot easier. Sometimes a lot of the women I've worked with in the past who are single and don't want to be just have never known how to have a friendship with a man. If they're hetero, if they're interested in that, by the way. I'm not trying to claim that all things to all people. But if we were told that our worth was tied to our weight or how we looked or what we gave or how much we did around the house or how perfect we are or whatever the fucked up shit we learned, and it was fucked up, just making sure everybody knows, because we were basically taught that our value and our worth was not as important as everyone else's around us, particularly men. I'm not saying guys who are listening to this podcast, because I know guys listen to this podcast, and I think you know me well enough to know that I just said I fucking love men. I've had incredible male friendships throughout the years, and for as much as I love When Harry Met Sally, because it's my favorite rom-com of all time, and it's why we will never talk about it on RomCom Rescue, because I refuse to look at it critically, the questioning if men and women can be friends should never have been a question. It just shouldn't have. Of course we can. And boy, does it slam us into some really unhelpful, unhealthy roles if we think we can't. That the only way we know how to connect with people is physically or romantically? What? Huh? It's so hard because I see all the things, and I see misogyny so fucking deeply in the patriarchy right now and everything. And I still love men. How did this become this podcast? I don't know. And my God, going through the last few weeks of hip replacement surgery with Danny, and it tested and pulled on our relationship and our gender role shit and everything else so much and so hard. I am so happy he is my partner for this bullshit called life. But the point I was trying to make about 5 minutes ago, ADHD, was the fact that I didn't know how to ask for help or support, even from the women in my life, even people who I would call friends, because I think that we were raised to compete. Now, I actually know the history of this, right? So in the history of dating, one of the things that I give away pretty freely, if you guys want to honestly send me an email, Kira@thrivewithkira.com, and say, Kira, can I watch the history of dating thing? I have it up online. You absolutely can. And it just talks about really dating was only invented about 100 years ago, in the scheme of thousands of years that humans have been here. It's only been about 100 years, and we're not doing it well. But one of the things that we learned is that so few of men came back from World War II that there was a dramatic shift in the way women were treated, the way that women treated each other. Dating and marriage ages dropped to, for women, sometimes 12, 13 years old, because you were so not guaranteed a man. And remember, at that point, you couldn't survive basically as a woman without a man. But you had to nail them down, getting promise rings, right? Going steady, getting pinned, letter jackets. It was all about, I have to lock this shit down or I'm scared for my future. And don't think for one ass second that that shit did not shimmy all over us Gen X from our moms, right? How many of you guys, raise your hand in the air like you just don't care, still have moms who are like, oh, you're putting on a little weight. Is your husband still going to be attracted to you? Do you think boys will want to date you? Bless Jan's cotton socks. That's my mom if you don't listen regularly. But she still loves to throw in occasionally, why don't you put a little lipstick on? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And by the way, I do say to my mom, are you fucking kidding me? right? She doesn't get to just drop her shit on me anymore without any kind of response from me. That's part of the work that I do. But they taught us and role modeled we better look a certain way, including hurting our bodies to fucking get that way. We better not be outside the norm because, you won't be chosen. And the best thing about 2025 is that we don't need to be chosen anymore. We can choose ourselves. But we cannot. And it is unhelpful for us to not notice that so much of kind of the bad behaviors or the things that we have learned to do that were passed to us from years of trauma and generational fear and everything else, we have to look at it. And honestly, it's our jobs as humans who want to be more, and as moms and aunts and all of the people, not because we owe it, but because at the end of the day, we want to go to bed knowing we made a better impact. It is our jobs to heal this and take a critical look at it so that each generation can do better. I am so thankful for my grandmothers because I know, particularly the one that I was not as close to, went through fucking hell and back for me to be here. She basically was a full-time teacher, ran a farm while my grandfather traveled, and raised 3 sons by herself. They milked I don't know how many cows every morning before school that she had to go teach. Life was crazy. And part of my gift to my grandmothers who have been gone since the 80s at this point is that I will not allow the younger women in my life, my nieces, my clients, to have to go through that shit again. I said to myself, this is going to be 20 minutes, 25-minute episode. I'm just going to fill everybody in on what's been going on and talk about the first type. And clearly I have more things to say. Hopefully I'm saying them in a way that at least can be heard. And I might be pushing up against some of your beliefs right now. I might be pushing up against things that you've been questioning yourself. And all I ever ask for anybody who works with me or listens to this podcast is give it a thought. Step back and ask, I've been doing this way my whole life because I was taught this. Does it feel in alignment with who I am or want to be? That's when the good shit happens. That's not only when you like yourself better, that's when you get into better relationships. That's when you actually get better health because you are less stressed, you are happier. That is when we change the nice into kind. But my point was, for a long time, I didn't know how to ask for help. Because I think as women, we were not taught to lean on each other in ways that I think we hopefully know now we can learn how to do. And it makes it really hard because I still see so many women who are friends, sometimes with friends for years and years and years, or even newer friends. But it's we don't know how to truly support each other because we're just kind of waiting to see if somebody hurts us or uses the vulnerable information that we shared against us. Because unfortunately, we witnessed it again and again, maybe not only in our lives, but in movies and TV shows. Just throwing out there that if you want to control people, you make them distrust each other. And you can apply that to about 1,000 different scenarios. We didn't know how to ask for help. So we became the overgiver, the overdoer, the person who takes care of it all, except ourselves. We made ourselves second-class citizens in our own lives. And the problem is we unintentionally taught people that we were also second-class citizens in their lives. And damn it, we did not want to do that. I know. But I am a big believer that as adults, if you are not happy in your relationship, your friendship, how are you teaching people how to treat you? And maybe you're like, oh, I'm not really teaching them anything. I promise you, you are, by what you allow, by what you say or don't say, by what you tolerate and don't speak up about. All of those things are still teaching people about who you are and what you're okay with. So if you don't think that your friendships, your relationships are as good as they should be, it's going to be 1,000 times more helpful for you to step back and look at, what am I teaching people how to treat me? And then if I don't want to be treated this way, what do I teach them instead? And if you don't know how to do that, by the way, guys, that's exactly what I do. That's exactly what I do in my coaching. And I can guarantee whatever package you choose, over 12 sessions, you will learn some shit. You will shift some shit. You will change some shit. I am sorry about the swearing. I am passionate as fuck right now. The final thing is, oh, damn, I am breaking my own heart on this podcast today. And this is not even that applicable to me. But I think about all of the people that I didn't feel comfortable saying no to in my younger years. And by the way, we can all imagine what kind of situations that shows up. Not only friends, but boyfriends, relationships, not wanting to say no to somebody physically, whatever, wherever I was at, right? So whether it was sex or even oral sex or touching or whatever, the things that I just didn't say no to because I didn't think I could. And I don't think I'm the only one who feels that way. I've tolerated a lot of crap behavior. And you know what? I know that I haven't had it as bad as 85% of the women out there. my trauma shows up as isolation, while yours might show up with over-attachment. So I'm only laughing because, it's not because I'm somehow superior. It's just my trauma shows up in different ways. But I've healed. I do differently now. I do better. I set boundaries like a mofo. And I even tell people regularly, including my clients who might listen to this, I'll see them make assumptions about me or my time. The last couple of weeks have been hard as fuck with Danny learning to literally walk again with a hip replacement. And it took such a toll on me, and both of us for that matter, mentally, emotionally, physically, in this house, everything else. And I let people know, hey, things are tough over here. Neither of us are sleeping very well. And so then people, walk on eggshells. They kind of are like, well, I have a question, but I don't want to bother you. I'm like, listen, I'll set my own boundaries, right? So when I tell people I'm not available right now, I also say, but what that means is you can reach out and you'll probably hear back from me in 24 hours instead of 2. Right? I make sure they know if something's shifting temporarily, what that looks like and what they can expect. And I am the first to say, don't set boundaries for me. If this doesn't feel okay, if this feels like you're taking up too much of my time and energy, I will kindly let you know. Do you know what a gift that is? And I'm not saying because I'm so cool, but do you know what a gift it is to know where you stand at all times with people? As an severely anxious attachment style, that's a gift. The fact that I know that Danny and I are okay all the time, that I don't have to question it. I don't have to worry about it. I don't ruminate it and stew in bed at night. We are solid. We are unshakable and we are good. And let me tell you, we had a rough ass fight last week. And I was like, and by the way, my anxious attachment after 10 years was like, this isn't taking us down, right? And he's like, babe. And I'm like, okay, sorry. It just likes to rear its ugly head, even after 10 years and being an expert who talks about this for 17. I was taught I couldn't say no. I was even taught that if I said no, it was conflict. That me saying no, I don't want to do that, or that doesn't feel good, that I was creating conflict. What? What? That is ludicrous. All of these things that we have been taught have created these behaviors as a survival, as a level of coping skill so that we feel okay. And what I find is all of my overgivers, who tend to be fixers, by the way, who tend to want to take care of everybody around them. You were not born this way, and you do not have to stay this way. Are you an overgiver? Go take the quiz. thrivewithkira.com/assessment, or just go to Thrive with Kira, and it says it like 3 different places right away. Take the assessment, because I worked real hard on it, and I put like cool like 80s gifts that I like had a hard time finding, and just please take it so that you can be like, Kira, this was fun, thank you. Because I do try, and it makes my day better, and I will in turn send you a gift that will make your day better. Are you an overgiver? And by the way, as I peel out the next 3 personality types, probably over the next week, you'll probably say, can I be all of them? And the answer is yes. Danny looked at this behind the scenes, right? All the answers I created, the different personality types, how to branch them and everything else. And he's like, babe, I think I'm more than one of these. And I'm like, you probably are. We are probably all a combo of different things, because this is just what generational shit looks like. And he's Gen X too. And he learned different things as a man, but sometimes similar things as a Midwesterner. But if you take the assessment and you end up being an overgiver, you will get some really short, small, sweet, easy steps, like super easy steps. All of this is free on how to start changing it. And if you listen to this and we're like, help me, Kira, help me, Kira. I got you. Let's get on a call this week, guys. I got time. Let's see if we want to work together. Let's see if one-on-one looks good for you. Let's see if Thrive might look good for you. Or let's see, I could create like a little hybrid for you. All things are possible. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. If you don't like it, let's change it. You are not a tree. You can move. All right, guys. Was this helpful? Tell me how you're doing. Kira at thrivewithkira.com. If you liked this, please subscribe. I don't always put things out weekly. Sometimes I put things out 3 times a week. Sometimes I'll have a week and a half to 2 weeks in between. So subscribe so you know exactly when things go live. Finally, if you really love it, please leave a review. Whether it's just some stars on Apple or Spotify, or really writing down what you are learning and loving about this podcast. I read every single one. They fucking make my day. You are the wind beneath my wings. And it helps get it out there. Because honestly, as much as I can say this, for as much feedback I get about this podcast, which is a lot, and most of it all very positive, except for the people who don't like my swearing and don't fucking care. Even if you never share this with another person, by you writing an anonymous review, that lets other people know this might be something that they want to check out. All right, guys. I'll see you soon. No more surviving. Let's thrive.